Hello Ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to the Next Gen News. Taking a look today at the PS5 in YouTubers' hands. A bunch of Japanese YouTubers got a chance to play test it properly, try out a bunch of the games including Godfall. So we're going to talk about that, some of the games. Also talk about the PS5 in general. Again, some industry insiders and leaks have emerged about what it's really like to have a go on it. Much like Xbox showed off with some of their preview kits going out to some of the insiders as well. Also going to be talking about the problems with Spiderman and the toxicity that changing Peter Parker has caused for the studio and the studio director. We're going to be taking also a look at digital saves. Why can't Sony figure out a way that you can transfer your PS4 saves over to PS5? Another few games are now confirmed that you won't be able to do so. Also, what's going on with the memory situation for both consoles and pre-orders. What's the situation with pre-orders being cancelled? It's not just Microsoft and Xbox now. PlayStation 5 pre-order owners are now being told not to expect their consoles until 2021. So all that and a lot more, let's go. It's the Next Gen News. So it looks like some big, huge gamers out of Japan got a chance to actually try this out. These YouTubers are like the mega stars of Japan. And you can see trying out the new touchpad, showing it off. I'm guessing that's like a graphical flow. Yeah, this must be the room. It's their new one. Doing lots of funky stuff with the controller as its special like own move controller. So yeah, it looks good. The controller looks alright. He's hearing it as well. The speaker seems to be working fine. Apparently you can even blow in it to cause some sort of reaction. Yeah, you guys go ahead and blow your own controller. So we've got the back buttons just showing off the jump. It seems to be pretty OP in showing exactly how to play the game here with the controller. It looks alright, it looks pretty sharp. Here we've got some Godfall in action. So we'll leave the links to these videos. I'm only highlighting them so you guys can go and check them out. I don't want to actually rip off any other YouTubers' content. So for sure, go and check out a little bit more. This one has Godfall at the end. So maybe I'll see if I can find a better one for you guys where it's all just Godfall gameplay. But yeah, it looks sharp, it looks bright. I have to say, it doesn't look that different from the last generation. And obviously there's a few bugs there with the swords glitching through. Apparently first impressions from some industry analysts looking at this data are saying that already the loot in this game is looking to be underwhelming from first on, and that there's a big problems maybe ahead if they don't adjust the loot tables, because so many of these looter game problems are down to just not having exciting loot or pretty OP loot at the beginning. It just kind of makes you not want to have to grind all the time. So you can see some little mud crab enemy types. It looks bright, it looks gorgeous, it looks like exactly what it's meant to be, which is a looter slasher. That's the new name for it, I guess. I will be trying this out. I will be hopefully getting this. It's a shame that Britain's not going to be getting the PlayStation 5 though till a week later, so I will be behind the curve on this one. Unless Godfall's launching a week later. I can't remember exactly when Godfall's actually launching. Is it on the actual release day? I'm guessing so, it must be launch. But for sure, it looks good. Reminds me a lot of Lords of the Fallen. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from this game. Going off Devil May Cry 5, the next gen versions are going to get Virgil as a new character, so it is going to be another kind of process where you're going to have to pay more money for it. It's all got the bells and whistles of the ray tracing, although apparently if you have any of the other modes enabled, like performance boost mode and stuff like that, the ray tracing will be disabled. If you really like the idea of playing as Virgil, apparently PlayStation 4 and Xbox One owners will get a chance to buy it as DLC in the future too. Not 100% sure what this game is. I'm guessing it's some sort of RPG. Is it a Dragon Quest game? Looks a bit too cute to maybe be a Dragon Quest. But something's definitely going down with these sort of furry creatures. So there we go, Godfall being shown off, the PlayStation 5's new Room game, and it looks to be a couple other games that I can't really tell what they are. Got some more shots of the PlayStation 5 as well. Apparently it's pretty glossy, the black part there, so it's very reflective. Don't know if that's going to be necessarily a good thing. But the blue light does reflect pretty nicely off of it as well. Apparently the exhaust was pretty good. The air coming out of it wasn't very hot at all. It was pretty cool. The light glows blue when it's starting up, and then after that it glowed white. And of course the PS home button is now actually just a symbol instead of just a circular sort of thing. So yeah, pretty interesting design there. You can see it's got much more grip on the controller stick itself. And of course different colours shown: blue, red, green and purple. Now all that stuff with I showed you the Japanese previews. Apparently consoles are preview units. Only the disc drive PS5 was available, so not digital. And apparently the PS5 couldn't be heard during the gameplay, it was pretty quiet. Also, the DualSense's light bar isn't distracting and feels better than the DS4. Also a bit crazy that they've changed the buttons for confirm. The confirm button on the PS5 will be X instead of O going forward. Is that a thing? I guess just like Nintendo in Japan, PlayStation has always had that configuration, where the rest of the world it's always been X. Now, one thing to add with the PlayStation 5 is there were some Reddit leaks suggesting that you could remove the white plates, also showing more of the plate underneath it, and here's what the white plates actually look like. Not gonna lie, this would be pretty cool. Imagine if Sony starts selling the base plates so you could literally change it over and have a God of War themed one, Destiny or Knack 3. It looks fairly simple as well. Obviously it's got a lot of hooks that pretty much just go into it, but seems to be no screws or anything like that. So yeah, I'd be totally down for maybe pimping up my PS5 and getting rid of the horrendous Wi-Fi look with the white sides. Apparently it's also showing the leaked images of the UI, and since a lot of this has now been confirmed via some of the footage from YouTube, it does seem likely this is what you're going to be facing. There's also been some screen recordings showing the startup times, and at the moment Xbox Series X is beating the PS5 by about 3 seconds. A small thing, but in the battle for exactly who's going to be the fastest and best, it may be important to some. Now, another report that surfaced is that the PlayStation 5 only has 664 GB of usable storage. Compare that to the 825 GB of the Xbox X, and that's pretty low. Supposedly the PS5 only has 825 GB SSD anyway, so I had assumed that PlayStation would have that 825 for all your games. But I guess I'd missed this, that all along it has been that it would come with just an 825 SSD. Of course the SSD is rumoured to be still faster than the Xbox One. But yeah, it's still a good sort of 200 nearly less than the Xbox SSD in terms of usable storage. Now this is important, this isn't just me a case of trying to dog on PlayStation. When you look at certain games like Call of Duty, pretty much saying their latest update won't even fit on a 250 GB SSD, you're going to be filling up these cartridges, these things, very quickly. Jesus, how old am I? Cartridges? Now fans are desperately asking that we can split up certain things like the single player, the multiplayer and Warzone, but it is just absolutely a bit crazy and mental. So yeah, next gen does need to solve this problem. Now this one I was going to give to Sony in saying that they've allowed other third-party developers to make the storage cards or the storage SSDs so that you can transfer stuff over quicker. And having it open to tender pretty much means they'll be cheaper than the Xbox versions, with the Xbox only allowing Seagate to make the official storage cards. But Xbox this week also got all its hands-on impressions from a lot of big industry insiders and have spent the whole week testing out the speed times. There's been lots of images going around, comparisons showing how quick it's going to be to load up a game from just an internal SSD or the external over to it. So you can see if you've got one of these older drives, it's going to take about 7 minutes 46 seconds to transfer Assassin's Creed, which is 50 GB, over to the Xbox Series S or X. And it's going to be 10 minutes to do it the other way. With an SSD card, that dramatically changes to only 2 minutes 18 seconds to get it from your memory card, your SSD card, into the game system. So this does help a lot. I was really starting to think Microsoft had kind of done a boo-boo, and I still think the storage cards themselves are way too expensive, but that is the nature of them. They are expensive even for PC and across the board. But for sure, being limited to just one type of brand isn't exactly great for consumers. Now there's been no testing at the PlayStation 5 just yet on how fast these speeds are, but it's looking like you're definitely going to need even more reliance on another type of drive, with the PS5 rumoured to have only 664 whatever it was playable actual memory. At this point I don't think anything really is going to change people's opinions about what console they're going to buy, unless you're maybe a parent buying something for a kid for the first time. Xbox and PlayStation fanboys will know whether or not they want that console regardless of any negatives that pop up. Earlier on this week it was confirmed that Peter Parker is going to be changed for the next version of the game. The Spiderman remastered version of the game will have a different actor playing Peter Parker. Now it's the same voice, but they recast the actual model, the person who did all the facial stuff and obviously the movements, because it's apparently better suited the voice. This started an avalanche of memes comparing it to maybe casting Tom Holland in the game. It's a shame that this has happened though, because it has started off a barrage of trolls firing online abuse at Brian Intler, the creative director at Insomniac. To our Spidey fans, I totally appreciate your passion, but sending me threatening notes that you will hunt you down and we will find you, you fix this now, isn't cool. With what's happening in today's world, let's be a force for good and be respectful of each other. Thank you. So it has definitely obviously turned a bit negative for them. And this is kind of bullshit. Like, let's face it. So you change a character's face in the game. It's a bit weird. I feel like this is a bit overkill. Yeah, I know, I love certain characters in games. I'm sure you all love the Witcher model, and I'm sure you all love certain other characters. But considering Spider-Man has been played by about 15 different actors and people over the years in all sorts of cartoon shows and different iterations in the comics, it's not exactly the most shocking thing to have a game recast the character or to make him look different. So yeah, a bit of a douche move on anyone that's really going overboard with the negativity on that one. So yeah, not great for Insomniac or Sony at the moment. This is only a short while after we got it confirmed that you won't be able to transfer your saves from Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5. So if you don't know already, if you're going to be buying another version of Spider-Man, of course you're going to have to pay the upgrade fee if you want to play the Spider-Man remastered on the PlayStation 5. Well, you won't be able to transfer your saves. You're going to have to create a brand new save and play it all completely. The only exception to this is if you're buying Miles Morales on the PS4, you will be able to transfer that save over to the PS5. Confusing? Maybe. Now there's some other games though that have also announced this for the PlayStation. Yakuza Like a Dragon also confirmed recently that you won't be able to transfer your saves from PS4 to PS5, and Dirt now has joined that list of games. Obviously, Xbox are delighting in this quite a bit as they are doing this for all of their games. You will be able to transfer your saves over. It's definitely a bit of a topsy-turvy week for PlayStation 5. Obviously, showcasing the console is definitely going to get them a lot of kudos and a lot of PR, as we should be seeing quite a bit of it now, as it's only like a month or so to go before release. But for sure, how many more other games are we not going to be able to take our progress across? Is it a deal breaker for you? Will you just be happy to try it out and go through it all again? Let me know. So you guys know I reported on lots of places in the UK letting customers know that actually their pre-orders might not actually happen. Well, that's carrying on, but it's not just the Xbox that's being affected now either. Customers in Ireland are being told that they may not actually get their PS5 until 2021. Apparently multiple readers of this site have said that they've received emails from the shop saying they won't be able to fulfill their orders until 2021. They've said it's not down to them, it's at circumstances out of their control. You can either cancel your pre-order or remain in the queue. Now on the Xbox front, it was more to do with the All Access program where you could pay for it monthly. It seems that was oversubscribed and there were some problems or issues with exactly how many Xboxes you would be able to buy using that service. But this is a bit different, that there's just not going to be any PlayStation 5s. Bearing in mind that in Europe and the UK, we are getting a PlayStation 5 a week later. So I would have assumed that would give them time, even just a week, to make more actual consoles. But there we go, that is the next gen news you need to know today. So with Xbox pretty much coming in, everyone's loving the resume features, everyone's loving the quickness of loading up the games. I'm sure we're going to be hearing the gushings of that for the PlayStation 5 very soon too. But yeah, definitely worth considering about the space and going forward, how big these games are getting. Let me know what console you're going to be buying. Has any of this or anything you've heard recently changed your mind? I'll be back with more next gen news very soon. Until then, I'll see you ratbags later.